From After Dark World headquarters. This is your favorite correspondent, KD, representing KD After Dark as it is my channel. Anyway, I'd like to wish Mr. and Ms. America and all ships at sea and all sods everywhere a very good morning for Wednesday, January 12th, 2022. Here we go. So, as you know, I've been doing show and tell on favorite albums of mine, and I do have plenty of those. My first one of my favorites, the Ramones, Leave Home. Do you see it's a demo? Well, it also has Carbona Not Glue on it because for all the Ramones fans, I'm telling you stuff that you already know, but Carbona was a popular stain remover that was trademarked. And so to avoid litigation of some sort or another, they actually pulled the song off Leave Home. So I got Brother Scott got me that demo of Leave Home, and I was very happy to get it because Carbona Not Glue is a great song. So eventually it was restored and all that good stuff, but I'm happy to have it. Album number 2, something a little more obscure that I could recommend. Krabby Appleton on Elektra Records. Actually had a hit off here called Go Back, which is really good. The rest of the album's good. I like it. I could recommend it. It's odd and it's unusual, and it used to be hard to find, but my guess is you could probably get this. But it's cool. Go Back is a really good song. Listen to Go Back on YouTube or something and you'll see what I mean. Now, I wanted to do a part 2 of, if you're watching yesterday, I was talking about in the early 2000s, I had a chat room with interactive voice and video called KD's Trainwreck. And KD's Trainwreck was a very interesting place. I actually took notes to cover everything that I wanted to cover. Now, I want to tell you about some of the primary players. There was Art in Los Angeles. I think I've been calling him Al, but I don't think he'd mind me calling him Art. Art in Los Angeles. A nudist. A proud nudist. A Army veteran who got injured in Vietnam. Anyway, he was a great guy and a real friend. We would actually speak on the phone. Anyway, what was great about Art was he did not give a fuck about much of anything, and he liked the fact he could be nude in my room because he was Art. And Art was all right with everybody. So anyway, then there was, now I'll get back to all these people. Then there was Pinky. Now, Pinky was from Canada, not the French-Canadian cutie that I cannot remember her name, but Pinky was a little, when I say little, oh, I don't know. She was probably average height. A little perky blonde. Used to be an ex-gymnast, and she would demonstrate on occasion. She was really cool. I would speak to her on occasion. Then there was Mr. Coffee. Mr. Coffee, I think you would call him a 24/7 drunk now. But anyway, he was funny as hell because he never drank coffee. He never drank a coffee. He said he didn't even like coffee. That is good coffee cup too. But anyway, he was cool. And then there was Savage. Now, Savage and I, he lived in Missouri, somewhere. He was a cool guy. And him and I would talk. And I want to make sure I get all the particulars down. I spoke of Hippie. Hippie was in the transportation field. He worked hard. He worked a lot of long hours, and he always looked forward to coming in my room. He was a Led Zeppelin fanatic, and I had to tell him, Hippie, you're wearing us out on this Led Zeppelin. Yes, I do want to hear When the Levee Breaks when you come on. However, since you are just totally digging these sexy ladies in here, you know, if you would play Feeling Love by Paula Cole, or It's Hot in Here by Nelly, you might see some people respond to that. And so he did, and he saw some people respond to his music. It was very interesting. Now, I spoke of the French Canadian cutie, her and her husband. I can't remember either one of their names. Everyone was laid back. Now, I don't want you to get the idea that this room was wide open all the time. It most certainly was not. Most of the time, we just let somebody DJ. I generally did not. I let somebody else do it because I was the moderator of the room. I just kind of watched over everything. But my big nights were Friday night and Sunday night. And we would have big crowds on both nights because everybody had been working and nobody particularly wanted to go out on Friday night, and everybody was home realizing they'd have to go to work on Monday, so it was good. So we would have contests and we'd give out prizes. Had a guy who could blow glass. I mean, high quality, different things of glass, like anything from a vase, or they'd say a vase. All sorts of just beautiful things. And he would show them, you know, just to show you that it wasn't just out of control all the time. He would show them in my room sometimes, and people dug it. And I said, you know, if I can't remember his name now, would you be willing to offer up one of those as a prize? He said, yeah, I would. I said, how much one of those go for if you sold it? He said, I might could get $100. Now we're talking about something, I'm not talking about something small, but something larger like that. And so I said, we need to have a talent show. We need to have a talent show. Now, you got to understand, this is KD train wreck talent show. And we would accept a lot of different things called talent. Now, I only had 2 rules in my room. 2 motherfucking rules. Rule number 1. And generally, it was the ladies that came up with this. The ladies, those ladies were just fearless and just watched over my room like mother hens, and they would have them a big old time. But it was the French Canadian cutie, again, who sometimes we'd have interlopers come into the room. And there was this guy come in. I don't remember his name. It's irrelevant what his name is. And he looked like Jesus. You know, like Jesus, like, I grew up in the Southern Baptist Church, like the paintings of Jesus speaking to the apostles, feeding the crowd, things like that. He looked like Jesus. And one of the ladies, I think it was Miss Cheeky, says, well, you're new, so take off your clothes. The ladies could do that. The guys could not do that. And he did. And this guy was packing a lot of meat. And my French Canadian cutie started calling him Mr. Jesus Dong. And I just thought that was funny as hell. And then after that, she got on, after he left, she says, you know what? I'm tired of looking at these damn dongs. I want to see the bag. And so guys were not permitted, unless the ladies approved, they could only show the bag. And so the French Canadian cutie was something else. Now I'm getting to the contest, but I want to describe one more thing. Make sure I covered it all. Speaking of the French Canadian cutie, sometimes just for the hell of it, I start imitating Bela Lugosi, and I would do, I have chartered a ship to England. We'll be leaving in the morning. Well, I think she spoke more French than English. And she started imitating me, and it was funny, but she couldn't say the word chartered. She said, I forgot how she said it, but it was, she's had struggled with chartered. But then after she said, I have chartered a ship to England. We'll be leaving in the morning, motherfuckers. I don't know, you had to be there, but it was fucking hilarious. And she was generally doing this in her bondage outfit or nude or whatever. You know, nobody told the ladies what to do. If they did, I just threw them out forever. I think that's the reason they enjoyed the room so much, because I wouldn't put up with anything. And if they wanted to do something, they did it. So it was the big night of the talent show. Most of it was forgettable. But see, there's a real prize up, because so people started doing something. Well, Ms. Pinky from Canada, you remember the gymnast? She says, I'm not sure, but I think I can eat my own pussy. And then the room just sort of like come to a mic drop halt. And she said, let me see if I can do it. And so they set up the camera. Her boyfriend set up the camera. And as I said, she was a gymnast. Missed it by that much. Missed it by that much. And then some of the BDSM people came in. Now you remember, they're in KD's train wreck. So when you have bondage demonstrations and you're hanging lead fishing weights off large pendulous breasts and the fishing weights are pulling it down, you're not going to necessarily have a bunch of ooh and ah. You're probably going to say, God, oh fucking mighty, isn't that about to kill you and shit like that. The bondage people did not like KD's train wreck room very much. Then Dome come in. Dome was this morbidly obese guy who never spoke. He'd always come on camera nude. He's probably 5'5", 350. He had a gut over his cock, or as they call it, a gawk. And so Cheeky and the girls said, what's he doing? And she said, throw him out. And I said, no, wait a minute. And then he started pissing in a bucket. His screen name was Dome. And then the girls, they would all gather up with me and say, what is this? And I said, I think he wants to be humiliated. And Cheeky, my UK sweetie, said, oh, we're going to take care of that. And she got on there and said, motherfucker, you better jack that cock. You got 1 minute, and then you're going to get the fuck out of here and never come back. And boy, funny doesn't exactly cover that. But those girls were so funny. And they had, I don't know who won the contest. I really don't. It was such a train wreck. I don't even remember who won the blown glass object. Don't know. But they got it. It was mailed to them. But we had, I told you about the 2 rules. And generally Cheeky or Pinky would get on there when new people come and says, all right, we only got 2 rules in here. You are not to say cock, penis, wanger, whatever. It's dong. Also, you're not to refer to a woman's private parts as pussy, vagina, snatch, cunt, any of that stuff. It's Brillo pad. And sometimes in text people, we say something like that, and they say, well, I just can't, I don't have a Brillo pad. My vagina says, bitch, you gotta go. Out. And so they had several of the ladies had the power to throw these women out. Anybody said, men or women said anything other than Brillo pad, out. I'd be remiss before I go winding up my little tales of the Pal Talk room to tell you about the stripper who would come in, and she enjoyed the room. And as I said yesterday, I was talking about the Jerry Springer episode called Heartless Hookers, where this one woman got up there and she turned her ass to the camera and said, I got something for you. I got a W on this cheek, a W on this cheek, and I bend over, it says, wow. I didn't tell you the second part. And when you bend me over backwards, it says, Mom. Well, the stripper girl was so amused by that she actually did this and showed us wow and mom. And yes, it did spell wow and mom. It was a great time. It didn't last long. It's before I even got into teaching. And once I got into teaching, I kind of let it go. I just had to let it go because the hours are too crazy. And then, years later, when I come back trying to track everybody down, they're gone. Just gone. But wow and mom, I'm telling you. And boy, you play Feeling Loved by Paula Cole, and she would get down with it every time. She was very popular, at least with the guys. There was a couple in British Columbia, and the girl would always smoke cigarettes while she was talking. I mean, she was a chain smoker like insane. She talked with a cig hanging out of her mouth. And I said, how do you do this? She said, by God, I'll show you how I do it. She moved the camera down, took out her husband's dong, and did oral with the cigarette hanging out the side of her mouth. Everybody was amazed. And she says, oh yeah, I do that all the time. Let's see if there was anything else I wanted to say. Oh yeah, Savage and I. He was a good friend of mine. We'd speak on the phone sometimes. He lived in Missouri, and we was always talking about getting the cheapest food possible. And I was bragging to him that I went to Walmart and got 4 pot pies for $1. And he got on like next to us and motherfucker, I got one on you. I got 5 TV dinners for $1. Now they're out of date, but not by much. And we do shit like that all the time. Last thing. We're talking about my friend Hippie, who didn't believe in anything until Led Zeppelin until the girls started stripping on cam. He would call me on the phone. And if you didn't pick up on the first ring, he always said the same thing. Boy, you must be really rubbing it out. Well, that was his typical thing. And when somebody wasn't coming into the room quick enough, as soon as they get in, men or women, they say, Hippie, just get on the mic and say, boy, Pinky, you must have been really rubbing it out. And Pinky'd always say, well, hell yeah, how'd you know? So anyway, I miss that room. I wish there's some way I could bring it back in a 2022 format. It couldn't be out in the open. It would have to be some sort of venue, some sort of platform away from it. But boy, did we have a good time. Now, I went a lot longer than I usually do. I hope you stayed with me. I hope I entertained you. We got consequential shit to do, of course. Say it with me. Always be nice until it's time not to be nice. Be kind to animals. Discipline equals freedom. Never complain. Never explain. And you could leave life this moment. Let that determine what you say and think. That's by Marcus Aurelius. I'll add my caveat. You don't have unlimited time. Don't you know that? So I do thank you so much for my subscribers. I thank you for staying with me. This is a lot longer than I usually go, but I had to say it all in one big blast. I hope I entertained you. I've got 81 subscribers. Can I get to 82 or 8,000 or 8 million anytime soon? Can you help me out? I'm on my road to adventures. 2022 is going to be a great year, and I will see you out there.